Hello again, I am Luke and you're watching Science of Victory. You asked tons of questions after our Heavy Tanks episode, and I can't leave them unanswered. Many of you wrote that you managed to win team battles using tanks we didn't recommend. Well, I touched on it in the episode, but I'll stress it again. Any tier 8 can be used for team battles if you're good enough. However, in a battle of equal skill, those tanks are usually superior for one reason or another. Nevertheless, today we will talk about the tier 8 tanks we didn't cover in the previous episode as you requested it. Slide from Navi will be our consultant as usual. The most comments were regarding the Soviet premium tank IS-6. Many players claim that this tank is as good as the IS-3. Is that so? Let's see. The mobility of the IS-6 is a little bit worse. The hull armour is almost the same, but the IS-6 turret is pretty weak. Those shells tend to bounce from it. Let's also compare the guns. The one-shot damage is the same for the IS-6 and IS-3. The damage per minute is better for the IS-6 thanks to the higher rate of fire, and the aim time is the same, 3.4 seconds. So far so good, but if you look at the other IS-6 parameters, there is no reason for joy. The tank's accuracy is low, and the armour penetration of the AP shells is 175mm. The penetration of the APCRs are 217mm. These numbers are lower than those of all other tier 8 tanks. In fact, the IS-6's gun is like the tier 7 IS's, but with a higher rate of fire. Enough with the numbers, let's see some real examples. First of all, the IS-6 can't tank normally because of the low turret armour. Well, if you're up against experienced players anyway. This can be well seen when face-hugging. The IS-3 has no trouble penetrating the IS-6 mantlet, but the premium tank has a hard time breaching the IS-3's armour. The only option left is to shoot the top of the turret. When in long-distance firefights, the situation is even worse because of the low accuracy. You can see that it's not easy to hit the enemy's weak spots. Some tankers say that they can side-scrape better than any IS-3. That is because many opponents don't know how to penetrate this tank's armour. You see a side-scraping IS-6? Shoot at the front angled corner plate. The shell will reach it at a good angle and will have an easy time penetrating. If the opponent is looking straight at you, aim for the lower glacis or the driver's hatch. I'm not saying that the IS-6 is bad and can't be used in team battles, no! It's just clearly worse than the IS-3 in most situations, and when two equal teams meet, this will matter. Also note that a player who has team battle experience and knows where to penetrate any armour won't be a burden to any team. Besides, they'll be able to get more credits. So it's for you to decide. Now we shall move on. Another heavy we didn't mention last time was the British Carnarvon. This vehicle was pretty interesting. Mobile, a great view range and good elevation angles. The damage per minute is close to its competitors, and the aiming time plus accuracy are the best among the tier. This tank is really good for random battles. Note that it's not all-purpose as the IS-3 and also less suited for team battles. This is because of the two main faults of the Carnarvon, its low armour and very low damage per shot. The tank's turret can be easily penetrated from the sides and above the mantlers. Plus, experienced players often shoot at the joining of the turret and the hull for easy penetration. The lower glacis is also vulnerable, and the side and rear armour of the Carnarvon outmatches only the paper-thin AMX 5100. You won't be able to side-scrape in it. Not much to say about the damage. The maximum is 283 and the average is 230. This is just too low for team battles. Another tank we were asked to talk about is the FCM 50-ton. This is the most mobile heavy of tier 8, even the AMX 5100 isn't as mobile. Plus the tank has good accuracy, fast aim and nice elevation angles. To top it all off, the damage per minute is one of the best of the tier. That said, the FCM 50-ton is too vulnerable for team battles. Almost any shot will penetrate. This along with low damage per shot make the tank poorly suited for team battles. Now we go back to the Soviet super heavies, the KV-4 and KV-5. There were numerous comments about how the armour compensates for its other faults. Actually, it can't hide the tank's biggest weakness, its mobility. Well, let me give you two simple examples. Cliff, the opponents have a KV-4. We send our heavies on a standard route, and the 1390 boldly goes to the enemy's ledge. Our light is in position, whilst the KV-4 is still climbing up. Our scout easily unloads his magazine. This is about 1000 damage at the very beginning, so from here, just keep it up and you're going to win. Second example, the enemy has a KV-5, 2 of them no less. No matter. The 90 scouts. Now we know where the enemy tanks are, and so we decide not to shoot at the KV at first. We only shoot at the other targets, because the chance of penetration is much higher. We rush in and focus down the 3 tanks, then hide behind the hill to reload. Now we just finish them off. As you can see, even the best armor won't save your enemy from defeat if you act with skill and cunning. The enemy will have even more difficulties on city maps, but that's only 2 maps out of 8. Well, enough of the KVs for today. Now we talk about the Chinese heavies. Many say that they're better than the IS-3. Let's review the details again. The 112 has good turret armor and a high max speed, but the acceleration is not so impressive. The main fault is the cannon though. The one-shot damage accuracy, aim time and armor penetration with APs is similar to the IS-6. The premium shells seem to have better penetration, but the rate of fire is slower than that of the Soviet tank. In fact, the 112 has heat shells. As we mentioned last time, they have trouble dealing damage through the tracks, and they aren't normalized. In addition, it has fuel tanks located in the front, so the tank is often set on fire by frontal armor penetration. Now the 110 is a pretty balanced vehicle. It is pretty similar to the IS-3 in many aspects, but has worse acceleration. The 110 is a pretty rare tank, and most tankers don't know how to penetrate its armor. This is a clear advantage, at least until you have watched Science of Victory. The 110 can be easily penetrated through the lower glacis and the commander's hatch. If the enemy is side-scraping, then shoot at the whole side place. You have no guarantee of penetrating the driver's hatch though, so don't chance it. Another thing that separates the 110 from the IS-3 is the cannon. The 110's is actually a bit more accurate and aims faster, but the damage per shot is lower. However, the damage per minute is 200 points higher thanks to the higher rate of fire. Overall, the tank is pretty good. If you don't own an IS-3, then you can easily take part in team battles driving a 110. Let's sum things up. We still think that the American T-32, the IS-3 and the AMX 5100 are the best choices for team battles, but now you know more on why. I guess this is all we have for today. In the next episode, we will talk about tank destroyers and even mention SPGs. Keep leaving your suggestions and feedback below, and remember to like and subscribe to our new channel for more. See you!